You're listening to the Mastermind Parenting Podcast with Randy Rubenstein, episode 49. Hey, podcast listeners. If you happen to have a strong-willed kid who is kind of pushing every one of your buttons lately, I have a resource for you. I made you guys a free guide where you're going to get some tools and tips and strategies to quickly get on the road to creating a happier household. I know you're pulling your hair out. I wanted to make you something so you could start getting some quick wins and building some momentum. So if you want to grab your copy, just go to mastermindparenting.com/free guide. And I hope you enjoy it. My name is Randy Rubenstein, and welcome to the Mastermind Parenting Podcast, where we believe when your thoughts grow, the conversations in your home flow. Well, hi, podcast listeners. I have a special treat for you today. I'm calling the name of this episode Pacifiers and Pattern Disruption. So recently, I was checking in with one of my mastermind moms who I had an issue I know over the years where her kids were using pacifiers way past infancy, and she had kind of expressed that even though they used it to soothe themselves, and it was kind of this habitual thing, it was just not a battle she wanted to take on. And she had a newborn, and she was pregnant, and she had a hard pregnancy, and then she had a newborn. She just wasn't willing to take it on. And um, so she had two older boys that were, I don't know, when she first started coming to me, I think like almost just turning 3 and almost just turning 4. Um, and so they're literally 1 year apart. And so it was just kind of this thing that, she was just like, it works. It's not that big of a deal. Anyway, I knew she had gotten rid of the pacifiers, but I never kind of got the lowdown. So I checked back in with her and I said, I want an update on how that went down for you. And she's kind of at the graduate level of my parenting programs. Like, she came in, she was in chaos, and then she has like taken major action, made the tools her own, and has really transformed her household. So I'm constantly kind of picking I'm air quoting my graduate level parenting students, picking their brains to just kind of find out what's working in their home, what feedback they have, and how I can kind of use their stories to help other people. So I thought it would be helpful for you guys to hear her update about pacifiers and how she went about disrupting this pattern. And even if you are way past the stage of pacifiers, what I want you to listen for here is, we get into patterns, and then all of a sudden, whether your child is 2 or 3 or 12 or 15 or 25, we all of a sudden expect our kids to do it differently. But the truth of the matter is that we they were following our lead. We're the pack leaders of the family. And so if we haven't disrupted the pattern or know how to do it, like, they don't, very rarely is the kid going to be proactive and all of a sudden, disrupt a pattern. I mean, I have heard parents say, oh, they just gave it up on their own, or they just gave up their thumb or their pacifier, or they just started sleeping through the night. It's no big deal. But I want to tell you guys, it's the rare child that does that. So what I'm constantly encouraging you guys to do is to lean into these difficult conversations. Like, no conversation is off limits. We can talk about anything and everything. We can disrupt a pattern. No one needs to be perfect. So what? This mom had said it. She was like, you know what? Yeah, in a perfect world, my kids at 2 and 3 and 4 years old wouldn't be soothing themselves with a pacifier. But in the big scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. I'm not tackling that battle yet. And then when she was ready, she had the tools and the skills to be able to do it, to lean into the hard conversations, to pattern disrupt. And so I want y'all to listen to this and just kind of have all of that in mind, and to think, what's not working for you, whether it's food or technology or kids not being responsible for their homework, or not keeping their rooms clean on a regular basis, in somewhat regular basis. What pattern is needing to be disrupted in your household? And I hope this episode encourages you to do so. So enjoy.
Hey, so Jack was 4.5 when he finally gave it up, and Max was about 3.5. And obviously, we waited a very long time, but it just wasn't a battle, in terms of what I was willing to fight at that time with Sonny being born. And so the way that it ultimately happened was we had been talking about it, and my friend Sarah came into town, and her little girl Cindy was about 6 months older than Jack. And so Sarah told the story about how she gave up her passies and she gave them to the new baby elephants and the baby giraffes that were born at the zoo, and they mailed them in, and they got to go shopping for a little cuddly, like a stuffed animal. And so Jack kept telling me the story back, and of course Max would just kind of listen in. They were sharing a room at the time, and one day Jack said to me, or actually along the way he had said, I'm ready to throw away my babas. I'm ready to throw them away. And I would say, okay, I'm here to support you. Are you sure? And then he would say, no, I'm not ready yet. And sometimes I would even leave out the are you sure? I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's pick a time and do it. Do you want to do it right now or do you want to do it later? And then he would get cold feet and he would say, no, I'm not ready. I will tomorrow, or I will when I'm 5 or whatever. And so I'd say, okay, I know that you'll know when you're ready. So one day he said it. He said, I'm ready. And I said, okay. And I said, well, we need to mail them into the zoo, so we need to go get something to put them in. I said, do you want to go downstairs and get a Tupperware? And he said, yes. So he went downstairs and he came back up, and Max was like, I'm ready too. I'm doing it too. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, yeah, right. So anyway, they put them all in the Tupperware, and I said, okay. And it was the end of the day. Crazy enough. It was like right before bed. So I was like, yeah, right. This is not going to happen. And then they put them all in, and I took them. I walked away, and I said that in a few days that we were going to go shopping for our cuddly. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't. I said, okay, guys, tomorrow we're going to go and we're going to drop this Tupperware off at Imagination Toys, because they actually have a mailbox there. The mailman can pick them up, and then we can go get your cuddly. So the next morning happened. They totally did it. And I just didn't even hear a peep that night. So we went to Imagination. We gave them our babas. I would definitely recommend calling. We didn't. And she was very confused, but went along with it. And then they went shopping for a little cuddly. Probably got something else too, but I was totally willing to let it happen, and came back, and it wasn't the end of it, because Max kind of would be like, I miss my baba. And I would be like, oh, you miss it. And then Jack never said a word again. It was like literally he was so ready. Max, it took about 2 weeks of him saying every night that he missed it. So I don't know if it was too premature or if he just needed to go through that, but it worked.
Hey, podcast listeners, if you're ready to take this learning to the next level and get some accountability and some hand-holding, I encourage you to schedule a call with me and hop on my calendar. And to do that, all you need to do is go to randyrubenstein.com/discovery. That's randyrubenstein.com/discovery. Can't wait to connect with you.